Hey there, how are you doing? Welcome to my channel, Naga Konada's Dev Tips. This is the second part of a two-part series on how to build a tooltip in plain JavaScript and CSS. In the first part, we looked at writing the markup and CSS. In this second part, we are going to look at adding functionality in JavaScript to show and hide the tooltip. All right. Let's get started. If you see, I have added a class of hide to the tooltip, and in that class we are simply doing display none so that initially the tooltip will be hidden. I also added cursor pointer so that when I hover over the information icon, it's going to show that hand symbol. Okay, let's do the JavaScript now. So I'm going to create variables for the information icon as well as the pop-up so that we can target the click events on the information icon and show and hide the pop-up. Okay, so let's say tooltip icon, document.query selector of let me get that class. That is tooltip container icon. All right, that's the tooltip. And I am also going to get the pop-up, which is document.query selector, and the class is going to be. All right, at this point, we got the tooltip and the pop-up. So let's add an event listener on the tooltip, a click event listener, by the way. And then I'm going to write a function which will take a parameter of the event. And then let's first toggle the pop-up. So I'm going to say pop-up.classList, which is a property on each of the HTML DOM elements. And I'll say toggle the class hide. So what this does is if the hide class is there in the pop-up, it's going to remove it, and if it's not there, it's going to add it. Let's see what happens now. And as you can see, it's opening and closing as I click on the information icon. But if I open this and click on anywhere else in the window, nothing is happening. But I want this pop-up to be closed when I click anywhere else on the window. All right. So for this, we have to do a little bit of coding. Let's do that. Okay, so basically I want an event listener on the window and a click event listener. And if I click on that, pop-up has to close. And also the listener on the window has to unbind because I don't want it listening to every click on the window after the pop-up closed. It just has to unbind as soon as the pop-up is closed. But when I click on the information icon and the pop-up opens again, I want the event listener for the window to be bound again. So we have to make sure when we're opening the pop-up, we're binding an event listener on the window to close the pop-up when we click on it. And then once the pop-up is closed, we have to make sure that that window listener also unbinds. Okay, for that, we have to see whether the pop-up already has the hide class. So we'll say pop-up.classList.contains hide. Contains is also another method which can be used to check whether a class is there in that particular DOM element. We will add the event listener to the window. Dot add event listener, and it's a click event. And then let's write a method, close the pop-up. Okay, let's write that function over here, function, close the pop-up. And this also takes an event listener because we're adding it as an event listener. Let's just make sure at this point, we will just say pop-up.classList.add because we want to hide it. When we click on the window, hide. All right. And then we also want to remove that listener. So we'll just copy this line. And once the user clicks on the window, we have to remove the same listener so that it will not listen to the subsequent click event. Let's also add a console.log that says window clicked so that we'll see whether this event is getting fired again and again. We will just open the inline console here. And let's just add another console log here that says tooltip clicked. By the way, this is a very good way of coding instead of putting alerts or breakpoints. If you just put console logs to see where the control is going while you're testing, it will be very nice. Okay, so when I click on the information icon, you can see that the tooltip clicked and window clicked messages are coming, but the pop-up is not showing. This is because of a weird thing with JavaScript events. The JavaScript events propagate to the top of the DOM. What this means is that when I clicked on the information icon, the tooltip icon, this event fired and we ran this and we got this tooltip. But again, since the information icon is also part of the window is also listening to that event because we created that add event listener here. So it immediately started listening to that, and then the window clicked message got logged, and immediately it has hidden, as you can see on line number 14. So to prevent this, what we can do is we can use e.stop propagation. So what this line does is it will make sure that this event doesn't reach the window listener. Okay, as soon as this event listener finishes, it's not going to propagate anymore. Okay, we'll clear the console and try this one more time. And now you can see this tooltip clicked message comes. So this has run, but this has not run. So we now have the listener here on the window. So if I click on the window, you can see that the window clicked a log message, and also the pop-up closed. So 1, 2, 1, 2. So if you click on the information icon itself, this window event is never getting triggered. Okay, and if I open it and click on the window clicked event happens. Okay, at this point you might think the functionality is complete, but there are a couple of things that we need to make sure. Let's see. If I click on the information icon and click on the tooltip, it's closing because the pop-up is also part of the window. We're not preventing the propagation of the event because that event is not on the tooltip, it's on the icon. If you want to make sure, it could be a desirable functionality to allow the users to click on the pop-up to close it, but in my case, I do not want the pop-up to close when I click on it. Maybe I want to copy the contents, so I don't want it to be closed when I click on it halfway through copying. Okay, so I don't want that functionality. What we can do is, so we can, in the close the pop-up event listener, we can hide only if the event.target is not equal to the pop-up. That is the condition we're going to put. Okay, so let's paste this inside, and also let's paste everything inside that. So if I open the information tooltip and click now on the pop-up, nothing is going to happen. But if you click outside, it's going to do this. Now just one more thing to take care of. Okay, I'm going to clear the console and click on the tooltip and then click on the pop-up, nothing is happening, and click on the window and then the window clicked event happens. But if I click on the tooltip and then click on the tooltip again and then click on the window, you can see that the window clicked event is firing. That is because we're hiding the pop-up using the tooltip listener, not the window click listener. So we have to make sure that when we are adding this listener and we're never using the window click event, we have to make sure we're removing that listener. So in the else condition here, we have to put this same thing. All right. So this else condition happens if the pop-up is open and you clicked on the tooltip. Okay, so that's when the else condition happens. So we're removing the click listener so that the window clicked event doesn't happen. Now let's see what it does. Okay, I'll clear the console and I clicked, and clicked. Nothing happens. But when I open and click, the window clicked event happens. I click on the pop-up, nothing happens. I click on the tooltip clicked. But if I click on the window again, nothing happens, which is what we want. All right, at this point, the functionality is complete. I'm going to click and click it somewhere else, click somewhere else. And now I can safely remove the console logs. All right, that's it, folks. This is the two-part series of how we can create a simple tooltip which we can use anywhere without any dependency on any kind of library or a framework. All right, thanks for watching this tutorial, and I hope that you learned something out of it. Please like this video, subscribe to my channel, and also hit the bell icon right beside the subscribe button so that you will get notified whenever I create new video content. Until next time, you take care and thank you so much once again.